Orchids are some of the most variable and beautiful flowers around, and if you've wanted to get involved in orchid growing, we've got some ideas for you. They come in bright colors with bizarre shapes and enchanting smells. There are over 30,000 species of orchids throughout the world, growing everywhere except in the driest deserts and the coldest polar regions.
Well, orchid is the biggest plant group other than grass.
In fact, orchids may be the oldest flowering plants on Earth, originating around the time of the dinosaurs, more than 100 million years ago. James Huffman cultivates orchids commercially, along with his wife Lois, in his greenhouse in Ontario. I asked him if there are any orchids native to Idaho.
Yeah, not any of these, but there are about 35 to 40 native Idaho orchids out here in the hills that you don't realize are orchids, but they are.
So some of the wildflowers we see out there this time of year are actually part of the orchid family.
Yeah.
James, along with his friend Alan Porter, are members of the Treasure Valley Orchid Society. Alan's interest in orchids started when he was a teenager.
I started in 4-H. Growing orchids at the age of 14, and so 40 years later I'm still happily involved in it and just built the greenhouse to help continue my hobby.
So the question many of you may be asking is, are orchids hard to grow?
Some of them are. Some of them, it depends on the requirements. The ones you see in the stores are basically really easy to grow.
We're in a greenhouse. Do you have to have a greenhouse to grow orchids?
No, you don't. Most of the ones that you can grow right on a windowsill. The key with growing them in the house is light, that they need a good amount of light. So you need good bright light for 8 to 10 hours a day throughout most of their growing season.
They also need water, but not too much. Generally, once a week will suffice.
The biggest killer of the orchid is watering. People will buy these in the store. They're not told how to take care of them. And they'll take them home, and because the water runs through them, they think they got to water them all the time. And they'll rot the roots off of them, and they'll kill the orchids.
Orchids have been crossbred to produce up to 500,000 different varieties. Some have even developed a unique relationship with a single type of insect or bird that is the only thing that will pollinate their flowers.
A lot of times the flowers fade, like on the Miltoniopsis right there. When the flowers fade on that one, you would trim it clear back within the leaf stalk here. So it just kind of hides the old stem. And they don't rebloom off of the Cattleyas are the same thing. They bloom once and that. The Phalaenopsis, this is the one that you find the most. The plant is, as long as it's a really healthy plant, you can trim it back and they'll sometimes rebloom off of the old stem.
And as any gardener knows, it takes practice and patience to find success.
One thing I would say is don't be afraid of it. If you want to try them, try them. And if it dies, buy another one. Never give up on the plant.
And they're just an incredible plant. Like you have flowers that last anywhere from a day to these guys can last up to 5 months.
You're going to enjoy them year-round.
For Idaho's News Channel 7, and you can grow it, I'm Jim Duthie.